Hello, welcome to Furious Driving, and this, if you're new to the channel, is my 1983 W123 230E, which has been sat in a barn for nearly 20 years. Over the last year or so, we've got the fuel system working, we've got the thing running, we've stuck it under a cover for a bit, and now we're about to discover quite how bad that rust is. But first, I need to look at this bonnet. It's so low on fuel I can hear the new pump clicking, but first we'll just check out that oil pressure. That's awesome. Right, this car, as I said, was parked up around 20 years, and before that happened it had a minor bonk on this corner. So this bonnet has been slightly reformed, and when I've got a new wing for this corner, because the wing that was on there was also slightly misformed by the same incident and quite rusty, so that's now gone. Either me or an actual body shop will reshape this to the correct shape because it's pretty solid metal. However, it was blown over very badly because the paint that was applied there is just flaking off in huge chunks. So I'm going to sand this all back. I've given up on the old electric DIY sander because they are really annoying. They just break their sandpaper all the time. Gone and acquired like a palm sander for the air thing, so I can actually have a bit more control and hopefully get through this a bit more quickly. This I'm sure will do well. I'll put a link to this in the description below. And yeah, let's get this horrible old paint off and get some rust-proofed undercoat on there. Right, I'm going in with 80 grit paper because that's nice and harsh. You can have a dust extractor attached to the back of this as well, but because I'm outside, I'm not going to bother. I don't want the bonnet to rust because it's a good bonnet. I don't want to buy a new bonnet. They're expensive. Well, I'm impressed first of all with this sander. It's nice and easy to use, it's really comfortable in your hand, all that kind of stuff. However, I do find immediately I need a bigger compressor because my little one keeps running out of puff quite quickly. I would just add, this is a prototype of the Furious Driving face masks. The real ones have got it in the middle. Well, that wound up taking a bit longer than I planned, and every time I found an edge to the rust, there was a bit more rust under the paint, so I ended up having to do way more than I thought I would do. But I want to try and preserve the metal that we've got, so you're not having to put more metal into the car than is necessary. It's a fairly solid old tank at the moment, so let's try and keep it that way. Well, this thing was actually brilliant. It's the first time I've done masses of sanding with an electric or powered sander, I should say. This isn't electric, it's air powered, and not come away with either kind of vibration white finger or knuckles that are cramped into some horrible rictus. This is actually really good. I'm actually looking forward to doing more sanding with this thing in a future date. There is a link to these things in the description below. It's a referral link, so if you do buy one, then I do get a few small pennies and it helps keep the channel going, so thank you. Now, it was actually vaguely tempting to carry on bare metal the entire bonnet and then carry on and do the entire car, but that would have taken literally hours. So that's not something we'll do today. Maybe we'll leave that for the body shop to do when the time comes to paint it. I had originally said I wasn't going to paint this car, I was going to leave it original, kind of a rat look Mercedes, but I think the surface rust is kind of too much and too everywhere, so we're going to have to paint it eventually. So doing a quick blast with some VHT rust converter so we can get all this back to good metal and not rusty anymore. And once that's gone off, give it some undercoat and maybe a quick spray of some other just random colour of top coat from the garage to keep it not rusty. Now, next up in the fun factory while that rust killer does its work, I've got the choice of either welding or brakes. Welding, I'm not in the mood for welding. So brakes is now. I've gone and got a full set of brake flexies, but like on the Volvo, they are very much welded in place. So I've got a loosening solution to use on them, and while that does its trick, I'm going to do a second thing and figure out exactly what I need to do, because I know that the flexies are all very, very perished. They need to be changed as a matter of safety regardless. But having been sat so long, there is no fluid in the system, and I don't know if this is because things have perished. God, that's tight. I don't know if this is because things have perished or because it's all fallen out of the servo, or it's all fallen out of the calipers. So do I need new calipers? Do I need to rebuild the calipers? Do I need a new servo? Do I need a new master? I haven't investigated any of this, and I think the easiest thing to do is put some fluid in it, see if it holds, and see if it will stop the car at all. I know I've had lots of recommendations, everything from Plus Gas to some German sounding ones, which sound quite impressive, but the guys in the parts store I generally go to recommended this stuff. They say it's really good, it's not too expensive, and hasn't got to be delivered. I can have it right now, which is always a bonus. I can feel a little bit of pressure in there. I can hear some hissing. Let's fire this thing up. Very, very light when there's suction on there. No pressure. Can I pump it to pressure? No, I can't. I think use a new servo or a new master cylinder then. Oh, got pressure then. Well, I think I might have found where the pressure is all going. It seems to be going on the floor. This is behind the back wheel. I need to go and jack up this corner here, and found a wet patch. It's not petrol, it's brake fluid. I don't know if it's still dripping if I caught this in time, but you can see the fuel line and the fuel return line, which are the metal lines going, hard lines I should say, going into rubber lines with clamps on, and above them there is a big puddle. That is the brake hard line going back to this rear corner, and that is very, very damp indeed. This is the same area where the fuel lines had corroded through because there was a rubber clamp holding them all in place, and I'm guessing the same thing had occurred with the brake line. So my experiment is at an end, and I need to put a new brake hard line in. So my brake parts shopping list has just grown a little bit. It was already going to be discs and pads for absolute certain all-round course, as well as the flexies, which I've already got in the back seat. But now I definitely need new hard lines all round, because I can't trust any of them. If one has gone, chances are they're all going to be corroded, so I have to re-brake line the entire car, which is a bigger job than I was hoping for, but not one I was 100% not expecting. Of course, I still don't know if I'm going to need to be replacing the calipers or rebuild the calipers, although they've been sat for so long. If I do need to rebuild the calipers, chances are they're not going to be rebuildable because there'll be too much pitting in the chrome sleeves, so I might just have to go in and get 4 new calipers for the thing anyway, which would also mean chances are I'll be needing a new master cylinder and possibly a new servo, so it might need a complete new brake system. But yeah, oh well, we'll figure that out as we come to it, which means it's welding instead then. I don't want to do welding today, it's too hot. It's been raining for so long, I've not been able to weld this car because it's been too wet, and now it's absolutely boiling. It's too hot to weld. Never happy. So what we're looking at on this little inner wing area here is a little hole just here, which hopefully, once it's ground back, won't go too far and just be, you know, nice and easy to patch. And secondly, we've got a slightly bigger hole, which is more awkward to get to, just there. And again, I'm hoping that won't be too big. Once I've started grinding it, I'm not going to find anything too horrendous. Right, so it's now the next day. The bonnet is now painted in. I think this is Audi silver with a hint of something grey or green in it, which is what I actually painted my Mondeo wheels in a while ago. It's just a random can I had left over. It's not pretty, it's not a great finish, but it is rust proof and it's going to stop this panel corroding, which is the main thing, because these bonnets are horrifically expensive with just a small repair to be made just there. This one is definitely usable. Now, it is still very warm. I've got long sleeves and long trousers on because I'm about to attack the metalwork. I've done as much as I can on this stuff. The brakes are another day, so now I need to actually do the hard stuff. And things aren't going well to start with. Things have already taken a turn for the worse. I was looking for the jacking point and I just thought, oh, I'll pick this bit of crust off here, put my finger through here. That's, yeah, that's not good. That's not much car left just there. That's really, really weak, so I think I'm going to have to find somewhere else to jack the car. I think I can jack under this big lump of metal back down here. That feels pretty solid, that's like a frame rail. Yeah, this is not good. This is all going to have to come back to bare metal and then be plated in around here, which is a shame because, oops, at the back on the same side, this jacking point is also really, really crusty. And I don't know if this is even, oh god, that's actually worse than I thought it was. Much worse than I thought it was. I know everything is repairable, but it's only the cover metal. But it is, well, that's nice and solid inside there. But that's going to be a big deal getting into all of that, cutting all this out. The rest of the sill though is pretty solid though, so. Well, this one looks decent. Oh no, I spoke too soon. Oh no, I spoke too soon. This one, oh no, it's only surface. This one has got surface rust on it, but it's not gone into holes yet, so maybe it's only the driver's side sill that's particularly nasty. That wing is not great though. Yeah, helpful. Right, let's have a look at how bad this really is around here and around here. I've got some in-ear headphones in to protect my hearing. This plastic cover needs to come off because it's rotten on the end as well. How does that come out? Oh god, little tiny bolts that are rusted in like crazy. That'd be fun. Right, well, I've squirted some penetrating fluid into these things. I'm going to give them a bit of percussive maintenance because they're pretty rusty. Ah, here we go, one's free. I was expecting more of a battle than that. Oh, I can't get anything to latch onto that one. Oh, damn it. Stupid Nikon Z6. I was just explaining how I've been through all the different spanners, sockets, hammers, penetrating fluid, and I was just about to try and cut the end of the bolt off, and the grinder exploded in my hand, and of course the Nikon had cut the recording. Recording interrupted. It does it all the time and it really drives me up the wall. I don't know how, but that just managed to do another explosion internally, but it wasn't even turned on that time. Well, while I'm waiting to sort out new tools, I'll put some rust converter in here to try and stop it going even more crusty than it already is, which is pretty crusty. Meanwhile, goodbye old friend, you've seen me through many cutting off bits of cars over the years. It's quite emotional, but that is now scrap. Right, so, well, that's now me done for the day. Well, until I can go and get a new grinder at the very least, which is going to be probably not today, maybe tomorrow or the day after, I would imagine. So this goes back on its wheel, this goes back in the corner, and nothing else happens until the new grinder arrives. So the question is now, when I edit this, is it long enough to make a complete video with enough happening in it, or is it not? I don't know. We shall find out on the computer in a few minutes. Meanwhile, I'll either say goodbye, thanks for watching, and please do subscribe to see how bad this rust really is, or join me again in a moment to see how bad the rust is. I literally don't know at the moment, depending on the edit and how quickly I can go and find the new grinder. So on the off chance this is the end of the video, I'll say goodbye. I'll see you again soon with some rusty holes in the car. Well, I just popped down to Hoe, B&Q I think it was, and bought the cheapest grinder on the shelf, which looks particularly cheap and nasty, I have to say. Not worth every penny, but it'll hopefully do the job, and hopefully it'll last as long as this job takes to do. Right, I've just been indoors and put the footage I've recorded so far on the computer, and it's like 15 minutes long what I've done so far. So rather than getting into the welding and making it a full-on half-hour video, I'll save that for the next episode later in the week. I try and keep these videos under 20 minutes. More people seem happier watching a shorter video most of the time. One of those things. So yeah, next time join me again when I start hacking into those rusty bits. See you next time. Thanks for watching.